Professionalism in the security and military forces will curb the useless arrests. Having a decent and presentable army plus police and intelligence, and at the end, the country will be moving forward with other democracies. As the Revolutionary People's Party, we are looking at having a police and intelligence services that don't persecute or torture citizens, but rather help in building the country and bringing about sanity and following the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. We are looking at strengthening community policing and improving the welfare plus training of our police force. In fact, the RPP is going to change the name of Uganda Police Force to Uganda Police Services. Police, it is supposed to be a service, like in other countries. It is not to be, we are going to demilitarize the police force. The police force, make it a police service, just as it is in Zambia and other countries. Police is going to be a service, not a force. Mr. Museveni did it deliberately to call it a force and keep it calling it a force so that it can be used to cause brutality to innocent Ugandans. So we are going to change the name Uganda Police Force to Uganda Police Services. Then, I'm sorry, I'm not using a lot of English. The English, too much English will come after swearing in. Right now, I know the people we are communicating with. The Wananchi, I want to speak and so that the Wananchi, I'm going to lead well, understand what I'm saying and what their country should be in the next 5 years. So I'm limiting the too much English. It won't help us. Right now we want to remove Mr. Museveni, bring back sanity in Uganda. The rest will come. So the Revolutionary People's Party is looking at having a force that will be focusing on internal security mostly. We shall not deploy our military forces out of Uganda on useless battles. Our sons and daughters have died in Somalia, South Sudan, in useless battles. Yet they are supposed to protect Ugandans. Just as you said, Mr. Segawa, people are not safe. Mr. Museveni went to the bush to bring about sanity and safety in this country. But people are not safe. There is no safety at all. Insecurity is added on the tortures, on the brutality, and the country totally just needs a change. The Revolutionary People's Party is also looking at motivating the police forces. At least
extends to supermarkets, restaurants, hospitals, fuel stations, bars, duka, saluni, Rolex guy, and even Yobo the guy anywhere in Uganda with Airtel Money Pay today. Simply dial *185*9#. Enter the merchant code, enter the amount, enter your secret PIN, and just like that, you have cleared your bill. Remember to ask for the Airtel Money Pay merchant code when paying for goods and services anywhere in Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
500k, sorry, dollar up, now 650k. Offline, price jumps like dollar, but on Gigi, price stays. Why stress offline? Buy, sell, use. Gigi.
You deal with the political question first, because the army, the police, intelligence services are involved in unlawful activities because of the wrong orders they get, which are rooted in politics, because the top just wants to hang on to power. There are many officers and men in all those forces who love the country as much as we love it, who are well educated, who are well trained. So once there is a conducive political environment that is deliberately created, they can professionalize all those forces. That's one aspect of security, or the cause of insecurity. There's also another aspect that causes insecurity in this country. You can't have security unless you eliminate poverty. There are many places where we are going, through the villages. People are staying with animals in their homes. Because if the animals are outside the homestead or outside the house, they stay with animals inside the houses. If they stay out, because of the desperation of the people, they steal those animals. Now, when there's that nature of insecurity, even if you have 500,000 police officers on the beat, you are not going to control people who are desperate, who need something to eat. And therefore, the only way you can tackle that form of insecurity is to invest in the lifting of people from the levels of poverty where they are and ensure that they have got the means to cater for themselves and their families. 2, issues of justice. I hear those in the regime normally talking about peace, talking about stability. Peace is not the absence of conflict, it's the presence of justice. So justice and stability and security are more or less interrelated. Now, if you use the army, police services, and intelligence services in a state where there is no justice, yes, you can clamp down on people, but to know that you are creating conditions for an ultimate situation where there will be an explosion. Basically, it will be sitting on a time bomb. And we have seen countries which
voice is simply faster, more natural.
Effectively done that, clamp down on people.
He said he's voice pilled, and I can see why.
Because of the police and intelligence services maintaining under our government, here first and foremost, to ensure that there is a leadership that follows the law, the constitution and the law. Because that's also a form of security for those who are in power, and also those who may not be in power. But once there's that realization, those who are in power, that you must operate under the law, then it secures you in the sense that you don't even fear to leave power. Because when you leave power, when you have been operating under the law, you know that you are in the clear, you are not going to be harassed by anybody in terms of reprisals. So to us in Alliance for National Transformation, that's key. As they say, a fish rose from the head. You must have a head up there that is able to understand the dynamics of governance, the dynamics of security, the dynamics of creating an environment in which the best Ugandans who are in those forces, like in the army, there are many Ugandans out there really who do the best that they can, but because of wrong political orders, they are exposed to doing wrong. It's unfortunate, it is sad, but I would like to believe that we are almost seeing the tail end of that kind of situation in our country.
Okay, they always say the fish rots from the head.
Yeah.
Let's borrow an example from our neighbors in Kenya. In 2010, they decided to changed their constitution, one of the things that they were trying to remedy was the reduced presidential powers and also introducing stronger checks and balances towards governance and democracy. If we were to elect you as president on the 15th of January, how would you treat the current standing constitution as it is and the powers that it gives you as president on the day that you are inaugurated?
One of the things that we want to ensure that is processed and reestablished within the Constitution is the question of term limits. However, constitutions alone are not the issue, because we have had many countries where they have been the best constitutions, but they're always overridden. Why? Because of the culture. That's why we keep concentrating on ensuring that we get the men and women who not only talk about these issues of governance that we talk about. The Americans say talk is cheap. Any of us can say about the things that we say. Culture, to change culture, you must get people who are in leadership who are acting out of conviction. If you don't get people who are operating out of conviction, 63 years. That's why our focus is beyond removing what we don't want. We must focus on doing that we want. That's why we focus all the time in Alliance for National Transformation. Because we've seen regime after regime leaving power and we remain in the same vicious cycle. There are many Ugandans, every sub-region, every religious group, really who care about people, who care about the country. So if you have men and women in a team at the national level, I operate in teams. If it's the will of God and the Ugandan people trust me with power, I operate in teams. First thing we do is get the men and women in all those areas, every ethnic group, every sub-region, every religious group, to ensure that the best are at the core of the management of this country. And then you change the culture.
All right, your time is first spent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Candidate Chagulanyi, you've heard, I want to ask you a quick question, yes or no? Then I'll ask you my next question. You've had retired General Muntu say he works in teams. If you were inaugurated on the day, would you be happy to work with anyone on that podium?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, given that 14 to 17 Ugandans still pay bribes, over 88% see corruption as a concern, tell me, what do you see yourself doing to change our corruption perception index where we sit at 35? I mean, it's terrible.
Please ask the question again.
So right now, the statistics do show that 14% to 17% of Ugandans pay bribes,
yeah,
and 88% of those see corruption as a concern in the country. What would you do to improve Uganda's corruption perception index, which is terrible?
Thank you very much. You see, before we find a solution, it's very important for us to analyze the problem. I think it all begins and ends with leadership, and Mildred mentioned it